Uh, J.K. Simmons is in talks to return as Jim Gordon for Batgirl. Now, this news came out of nowhere again. I was not expecting this, but we kind of figured out that they should do this because like we said last week, I think that if you are announcing the Batgirl project and then you are announcing the casting, and you're not even mentioning the Batman, unlike what happened with Gotham PD when they focused on how connected it would be for the to the Batman universe. That means that this Batgirl movie won't be connected to the Batman. That's what I concluded. That's what I got from the articles and stuff. And now, with J.K. Simmons returning, apparently, this I think solidifies that this movie is going to be in the DCEU. It will also benefit that they have Supergirl movie coming out, and they have a Batgirl project that's going to HBO Max. Um, they probably want a team up movie in the future, so this is I think the best way of doing it. So this comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. They say J.K. Simmons is coming back to the Batbeat. The Oscar-winning actor is in negotiations to reprise the role of the classic Batman character Commissioner James Gordon in Batgirl. Warner Brothers feature for HBO Max that is casting up swiftly. Bad Boys for Life filmmakers Adil Al Arbi and Bilal Fallah are directing from a script by Christina Hodson, the DC mainstay behind Birds of Prey and the upcoming The Flash movie. Simmons was cast as Jim Gordon by Zack Snyder for 2017's Justice League and appeared in added material for the filmmaker's recently restored cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So yeah, I'm pretty much happy with this decision because I would have just hated if they just went for another Jim Gordon who is not from the DCEU, who is not from the Batman, and just a standalone Batgirl movie. It wouldn't just make sense. But I'm glad that this is in the DCU. I'm glad that he is returning because I thought he was really good in the role, in the very limited role that he is in. I'm really glad that he's coming back. And also, he was supposed to just be teased in the Snyder Cut and, then later on come back for the Batman, but that didn't happen. So, at least I'm glad that he's getting to reprise the role for this movie, and maybe we'll even get Ben Affleck's Batman cameo or a reference, and then maybe one day Ben Affleck will make the Batman movie he wanted to make, and then Jim Gordon will again reprise his role. So this does open up the door for that, and I'm pretty excited for this. So yeah, you saw this casting news. What do you think of it?
I think it's very important that the DC movies from here on out do pretty well for Ben Affleck to come back as Batman. I think as the Suicide Squad, it's obvious. Yeah, I think the Suicide Squad is doing pretty well with critics right now. I don't know how it's going to do with the box office because with HBO Max and with all that kind of stuff. So it might not make as much money as it would. But I think if the Suicide Squad is pretty good and it does well, I think if the Flash is pretty good and it does well, Black Adam, these other DC movies that are coming up, and Batgirl as well. Ben Affleck maybe might be more open to coming back because the DC feels like it's on his feet now. Critics seem to be more nicer to it. Bloggers seem to be nicer in a way to it as well. I think Ben Affleck maybe would feel himself becoming in a good environment to make a Batman movie or a Batman series or pop up as a cameo for the Flash or as Batgirl. So I think it's important that these movies do well because if they all do shit and they're all received in a bad way, he'll never come back. That's the way it is. But this one right here, J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, I think is brilliant. I love him in the Snyder Cut. He's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was in the Sony Spider-Man verse. He is in the DC universe now. It's awesome. Now, there was talk of them casting a younger Commissioner Gordon for this movie, which I'm like, okay, which universe is it in? Is it in the Batman universe? Is it another standalone universe? Is it on Earth 62 on in the multiverse? Is it in the actual DCU Ben Affleck's world? Well, obviously, it's in Ben Affleck's world. And if the Flash movie has all these rumors that it resets the DCU and it kills off Batfleck and Batfleck doesn't exist and Michael Keaton's the new Batman, And why is J.K. Simmons the Commissioner Gordon of Michael Keaton's new Batman world? Doesn't really make too much sense. I think Batfleck will exist in this world. I don't know if he'll show up in the HBO Max movie. It might cost a bit much for them to do that, but I think it will open the doors. And J.K. Simmons is a great actor, brilliant actor. So for him to return, I'm so happy with this. And the Snyderverse kind of it doesn't live on in the form it was supposed to, but there's characters and there's actors who are in the roles they were cast by Zack Snyder recurring in different projects, which I think is good. You never know what will happen in the future. So Leslie Grace will be Batgirl. The filmmakers behind this did Bad Boys for Life, which was a big fan of. I thought they did an amazing job with that. And I'm interested to see what they can do for HBO Max. And if somehow they could get Ben Affleck, I wouldn't be surprised if this movie is moved from a HBO Max original to a day and date
Me
release,
too.
because that's a lot of star power behind it with J.K. Simmons, the Bad Boys for Life directors who made a lot of money at the box office just before the pandemic hit. And you throw Ben Affleck in there, maybe a really good villain, a well-known actor. I think this could be a good theatrical release instead of just a HBO Max release. So it's promising, and let's see what the future can hold. I'm sure if the background exists in this world, then Batfleck obviously exists as well.
Hey, I'll just say this that, it's a fact, and I'm not making stuff up or anything. The Flash movie, the script of the Flash movie was written by Christina Hodson, and her script is so strong that it got Ben Affleck to come back from retirement to play the Batman again. It got, VFX supervisor to come back for the Flash to do that. It got Ray Fisher to come back at that time. It got Ezra Miller to, finally settle for this, and it got Andy Muschietti to come on board, and they're finally making this movie. So it's her script that's doing that. And she is also the writer for the Batgirl movie, which just now cast Jim Gordon and J.K. Simmons as Jim Gordon. So I'm just saying that the script is strong and these people are coming back to play their roles that they loved so much when Zach was around. Maybe there's a chance that Ben Affleck might appear or have a cameo or some sort in this movie.
That's why I said, I don't know if you missed the start. I think it's crucial that all these DC movies do well
Yes.
over the next 18 months for him to come back and want to come
Yeah.
back. I think Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Shazam 2, Flash, I think critically and money wise, I think they need to do pretty well. And then Ben Affleck get that itch back. He'll feel like he's coming back into a good environment and he'll be more open to playing Batman. And then maybe, just maybe, he thinks, wow, I could put a Batman movie out here or series on HBO Max, and the bloggers and critics aren't as maybe judgmental as they used to be. That would be Superman.
Yeah.
So let's hope. But that's just me being a Warner Brothers shill.
Yeah, but I also think that that's a very valid point, because I think that if the reception from the Flash movie for Ben Affleck's Batman and the movie itself and how it performs critically and audience wise and box office whatever, I think that motivates Ben Affleck a lot, because he feels that this is a very good project to be part of. There's Michael Keaton's Batman, there's new Supergirl being introduced, there's the Flash. Who doesn't love the Flash? So a lot of stuff that could potentially make this movie a big success. So he's probably chose his project to be this because of that reason. And I think if this movie succeeds in a big way, I think he'll definitely be motivated to come back, because he was just going to come back for Zack Snyder, but he also came back for the Flash, which is a huge deal, because I don't think he was done as Batman. He was not going to do his movie or any other stuff, but he came back for this non-Batman project. So I think it speaks a lot of what his thought process is, for the DCEU and stuff. So I think if this movie performs really well, I think he'll definitely be back for a cameo in Batgirl if needed, or any other project, maybe Suicide Squad 2, 3, or whatever.